Grognak the Barbarian is known as the fictional superhero character from his own comics and the Unstoppables comics within the Fallout universe. After going on many adventures in this fictional universe, it was time to see how he'd fare in the Wasteland Commonwealth of Fallout 4. For this run I gave Grognak a strength of 10 because he's a hulking man and no doubt has a honking penis. I also gave him an agility of 7 because he's going to need to be quick enough to move around the wasteland, and endurance of 7 because obviously he's a superhero, they're all basically invincible. After discovering the world he once knew and loved was now just a desolate wasteland, he knew it was only one person that could have caused this, his arch nemesis, Greylock. Grognak knew he had to make his way to Hubris Comics, where when he hung up his boots he donated his axe and costume to be put on display. Upon entering Hubris Comics he was surprised to see that his axe was still locked away inside this case. After picking it and acquiring his axe, he then needed to find his costume, but before that he needed to fight his way through what looked like a bunch of hideous mutated zombie people. After he made his way to the top floor of Hubris Comics, there's only one place it could have been. With no luck in the rest of the shop, he looked to his left and spotted it in a set of lockers. Axe and costume acquired, he had once again become Grognak the Barbarian. He needed somewhere to buckle down for the night, and he found this train station where he found the Triggermen. Unfortunately for Grognak, they were less than welcoming. After fighting his way through all of the Triggermen, he eventually stumbled upon a mechanical being known as Nick Valentine. Grognak then asked Nick Valentine if he would help him find where Greylock was hidden, so he could avenge those who have fallen due to Greylock's devious plan. Grognak and Valentine then stumbled upon their first hurdle, Skinny Malone, one of Greylock's henchmen. Grognak then tried to do the right thing and tell Veronica to leave where she was, as he didn't want to hurt her. As she refused to listen to Grognak, because she's a strong independent white woman that doesn't need a man, Grognak was left with no choice but to put an end to her life. But first he had to take care of Skinny Malone. And in no time at all, Skinny took an axe to the face and was dragged to the floor, putting an end to his miserable life. Now that that was out the way, he met back up with Valentine, and Valentine told him to meet him in Diamond City. Now that Grognak had made it to Diamond City, he sat down with Nick Valentine and his lovely assistant Ellie, who reminded Grognak of the Mistress of Mystery. He then went on to tell the pair that the end of the world come about because of Greylock and that he needed to find him. Valentine agreed and told him that he knew where to start looking first, in the house of Greylock's right-hand man, Kellogg. Upon entering Kellogg's house, the smell of chloroform was rife throughout. Kellogg was notoriously known for trafficking humans, more specifically, children. Some speculated that Kellogg was involved in a paedophile ring. Grognak then found Kellogg's secret sex dungeon, which was full of used condoms, cigars, and empty beer bottles. Valentine then told Grognak there was only one way he was going to find Kellogg, and that was through one of his special friends. That special friend was Dogmeat. Dogmeat eventually took Grognak to Fort Hagen. Once inside, Grognak had to fight his way through evil synths and dispatch them, no problem at all. Grognak eventually stumbled upon Kellogg, and wasting no time at all, launched himself at him, and after 3 foul swoops of his axe, Kellogg's reign of terror was finally over, and the children of the wasteland were safe once more. After returning to Valentine, Grognak told him that he knew where Greylock was, but didn't know how to get there. He also told Valentine that he'd recovered Kellogg's brain. Valentine then told Grognak that he knew a doctor that would be able to do a brain transplant and help him find a way into Greylock's secret lair. Once arriving in Good Neighbor, Valentine offered to have Kellogg's brain put inside his head. The doctor then told Grognak to put on the MetaQuest 7 to play a new holotape game that they had made called Brainwave. After winning holotape game of the year 2287, Grognak was more than happy to sit in the chair and play the game. Grognak then discovered that there was some sort of teleportation device that was taking people in and out of Greylock's evil lair. That's where he discovered that Kellogg was passing off children to Greylock's minions. The doctor then told Grognak that only one person knew how to get in and out of this evil lair, and his name was Virgil. Virgil was exiled from Greylock's evil lair after disagreeing with everything that he was trying to do within the wasteland. Not only was Virgil exiled, he was also forced to endure the FEV, which turned him into a hideous super mutant. Virgil then told Grognak that there was one of Greylock's evil minions hiding away in a tower somewhere that had the key to getting in to the evil lair. He asked him to recover this key, and then he'll give him plans to build a teleporter, but also in return he wanted to be returned to normal. Grognak then set about this tower, but he wasn't the only one trying to take out one of Greylock's evil minions. It was full of gunners, and one of these gunners was apparently stronger than Grognak and blew him up. Subsequently trying again, Grognak this time succeeded in ending this gunner's life. He then found Greylock's evil minion. He did try asking nicely if he would let him have the key, but the minion said no, so Grognak didn't give him a second chance and did what he did best. despite the fact that the minion turned invisible. With the key in hand, Grognak knew it needed decoding, and he had heard rumours around the wasteland of a group called the Railroad, as they were the only ones with the knowledge and the power to do so. After standing there like a lemon for 7 hours, the key was finally decoded. He promised that he'd come back to the Railroad and made his way back to Virgil, who then told him about a group called the Minutemen who were after exactly what Grognak was after, bringing down Greylock and his evil minions. After Grognak had found the Minutemen hiding away in the Museum of Freedom, all they asked of him was to help them take out the raiders that were lurking about outside. Not only that, your neighbourhood-friendly Deathclaw decided to make an appearance. But after everything that Grognak had faced already, the Deathclaw was no match for Grognak and his axe, and was brought to an immediate end. After helping Grognak from a distance, Preston needed to have a nice long sit down before making their way to Sanctuary, where Grognak had once resided with his wife and child. After making it to Sanctuary, Grognak asked Preston to help him build a teleporter, and told him that was the only way into Greylock's evil lair. But Preston needed help getting the Minutemen back together before Grognak could push on with his quest. With Minutemen recruited and the teleporter finally built, it was finally the time for Grognak to step inside the teleporter and make his way inside Greylock's evil lair for the very first time. The second that Grognak laid eyes on Greylock, he didn't hesitate and swung for him with his axe. Somehow he managed to miss. Grognak knew that this wasn't the time to end things yet, so he made a swift exit back to the Minutemen to try and get their help once more. After arriving back at Sanctuary, Grognak told Preston that the time to strike was now, but yet Preston wanted more help with defending the castle. As soon as Grognak told him there were children's lives at stake, there was no hesitation, and they were back inside the evil lair before we knew it. Preston then went on to give some sort of speech about freedom. Whilst Grognak agreed with all of this, he didn't have time to stand around twiddling his thumbs waiting for him to finish. Preston then gave Grognak a pulse charge. This would blow up the entire of Greylock's evil lair as soon as they were clear. To get to the reactor to place the charge, Grognak had to fight his way through a boatload of evil synth minions. But before placing the charge, he had one thing on his mind, and that was to put an end to Greylock altogether. Upon discovering Greylock lying in his bed, Grognak found out that Greylock was actually dying. So he was left with two options: leave him where he is, and he can go up in flames like the rest of his evil lair, or he can take him out here and now. Grognak realised that he'd come too far to not have the satisfaction of ending Greylock himself. Grognak took one last look at his arch-nemesis, and with one strong foul swoop of the axe, Greylock was no more. Grognak made his way to the fusion generator and planted the pulse charge, ready to end this lair once and for all. Once teleported out of the evil lair, Grognak was given the honours of destroying it once and for all. As he watched the explosion, he pondered what he was going to do with the rest of his life, now that Greylock was gone. Maybe he'd go find the Silver Shroud and take up some more quests around the wasteland. Or maybe he'd find a new wife and settle down. We don't really know a lot about Grognak the Barbarian. All we really know is that his arch-nemesis is Greylock. He's in some comics in the Fallout universe, and he was a hero. I had a lot of fun doing this run, and it's inspired me to do some more. I am currently editing down the Hobo Joe one I did before this, but this one felt like it should have been brought out first. So if you like what you've seen and you've got any suggestions you want to leave me in the comment section down below, feel free. Go and have a look at all the other videos on the channel. And thank you all for your love and support recently. It's been great. I've been FalloutTV. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay tuned into FalloutTV. And I'll be back again soon with another video. Love you all. Goodbye.